He's rubbing his face in the cat food. That's my lip gloss. Thank you. Look at you. Are you a little prince? He's a little prince. Look at this one. A little prince. On today's episode of Free Unsolicited Cooking Knowledge, I will be canning green tomatoes. Isn't that right? Thank you. You're so heavy. I think you're the problem of my wrist problems, not volleyball. Welcome back, little spoons. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm what? The missing ingredient to your kitchen. On today's episode, as you saw, I am canning green tomatoes, and this is not a very popular recipe. I don't think many people realize that you can can green tomatoes. Usually it's like canned eggplant that people do, but I love this recipe. I've been making it for years, and it is a great way to utilize the tail end of your harvest. I just want to preface this by saying it is not a shelf-stable canning. I'm in school to learn how to properly do that, but basically I can them and I put them in my fridge for a couple of months or until we eat it, and actually it's fairly quickly we eat it all. It's a very popular recipe in this household and it's super delicious, and I'm really excited to share that with you. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. All right, little spoons, I want to preface this by saying this recipe takes about 3 days. Yes, you heard that correctly. 3 days. It is a process. A lot of love and labor goes into it. Also, before I even decided to slice any of the tomatoes or start the recipe, I cleaned and sanitized all of my equipment, from my cutting board to my knives to the containers that the tomatoes sit in. I basically scrubbed everything with hot water, soap, rinsed it. Then I did a bleach bath for everything, let that sit for about 15 minutes, rinsed it, and then again I applied boiling water to everything and let that air dry, covered with fresh clean towels. Once I sanitized everything and set everything up, then I went to the garden and I got to harvest some of the most beautiful green tomatoes. I don't discriminate of what kind of tomatoes go in this recipe. I picked Roma, vine, beefsteak, anything that had beautiful blemish-free green tomatoes. I picked it and you got it. I put it in this recipe. All right, now that all your tomatoes are washed and scrubbed of any dirt, I go ahead and I cut the end off where the stem is attached to, and then I slice each tomato into little slices. Now you can keep them sliced like this, but I personally like to slice it a little further into strips. You can also cube it. You don't necessarily need to do what I do. It's just basically cutting them into bits and pieces so that when you put them in the salt, the water can properly be pulled from each tomato. For vine tomatoes or beefsteak tomatoes, I tend to give them a more thorough look over because they have a lot more blemishes usually than Roma tomatoes. And with the rounder tomatoes, they have a more fibrous section where the stem was attached. So sometimes you have to dig further into the tomato to get rid of that. As far as you can see here, that light green portion of the tomato is not fibrous. That's actually part of the tomato meat, I guess you can say. So it's perfectly fine to slice up and put in your bowl as well. I had to do these tomatoes in 2 sections because I had so many. So the next step is to take coarse kosher salt and sprinkle it on the first bowl of your sliced tomatoes. Give them a generous covering, and then I went in and I mixed it just to make sure everything is perfectly coated. Once you have mixed that, you're going to grab your sanitized container, and basically we're going to do this in layers. You're just going to scoop your tomatoes into the container, creating a first layer that covers the bottom. Don't worry that there's water already in the container. Trust me, there'll be a lot more in the next day. Once you have that layer, we are going in with our salt and we are generously covering the tomatoes. I don't want you to be afraid with how much salt you are using. You will not be tasting it in the final product. The salt is here to pull all the water it can from these green tomatoes to soften them up. But yeah, I just go in and I do all these layers until I run out of tomatoes and everything is covered. Okay, so once you are done finishing cutting all your tomatoes and adding salt, I'm going to add another container to the inside to press down on those tomato slices. Now the interior container is filled with water and that will weigh down to press the water out of the tomatoes. Now if you don't have this set up, you can just cover it with a plate in a pot filled with water, but make sure that you have something underneath it because the water can press up and overflow onto your counter and it's just a huge mess. So I just put it in a giant bowl and then I covered it with a cloth. All right, this is the next day. It has been sitting on my countertop for 24 hours. I'm just pulling out that container. By the way, this container was sanitized fully on the exterior, so there was no cross-contamination while it was pressing on my green tomatoes. And as you can see here, a lot of liquid has been pulled from those tomatoes. So we are on the next step of processing these tomatoes, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most dreaded step in my opinion. You're going to get a sanitized bowl with some clean cheesecloth, and we're going to scoop little scoops of the green tomatoes into the cheesecloth, enough that you can basically fit into both your hands, maybe even smaller depending on your strength. And then we're going to squeeze as much water as we can out of those tomatoes. Usually Cody is here to help me with this, and he wasn't, and my little hands almost fell off. That's all I'm gonna say. Once you have squeezed as much as you can out of these green tomatoes, I transfer to another sanitized bowl, and honestly, you just repeat the process until all your tomatoes are squeezed of all the juices. Also, throughout this process, I probably went through like 3 sections of cheesecloth. Just as you're wringing them out, sometimes the cheesecloth rips, and it kind of defeats the purpose of why you're using the cheesecloth. Also, after I am done wringing the tomatoes out in the cheesecloth, and basically that first round, it's done, I go back in and I re-wring them out a second time just to make sure every last ounce of water is out of the green tomatoes. All right, so they have been wrung out twice. This is what they look like. They're a little more shriveled, and they definitely look different than yesterday. Now, the next ingredient you're gonna need is apple cider vinegar. I love Allen's for having this 4-liter jug ready to go. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to just cover all of your tomatoes in this vinegar. I usually like to do it about an inch above the tomato line, just to make sure there's no air pockets. I give it a little bit of a mix so everything is saturated, and then I put a lid on, and this will sit on my counter for the next 24 hours. So now that we are on day 3 of the process and your tomatoes have been sitting in the apple cider vinegar, the next step is basically to sanitize your jars. So basically, again, I soap and water washed the jars, then I put them in a bleach bath, rinsed it, and then of course I put them in a pot of boiling water, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, turn it off, pulled them, let it cool, and they are ready to be filled. So here are my jars. I had them covered just to make sure everything is clean. My tongs are clean. Also, my hands are scrubbed, washed, and cleaned as well. Also, the table has been sanitized and everything. Okay, so the first thing that you want to put in these jars is garlic cloves. Again, you don't have to do any of this. This is just what I love in this recipe. So let me grab my garlic. And in my personal opinion, if you can go to a farmer's market or somewhere where it is freshly grown in your area, it's perfect. I had to buy this from the store because I couldn't make it to the farmer's market in time. And yes, I'm still figuring out how to grow garlic. That may be a project going into fall because I feel like you have to plant it in fall. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm literally breaking up the little cloves because I want to do about 2 cloves per jar. That's what I usually do anyway, unless they're like really, really, really big. So I'm gonna give it a smash, and I'm gonna cut the end off. And yes, I want to smash the garlic before putting it into the jar because I want that garlic juice to infiltrate the jar. And here we are. Okay, so we're going in. And you're gonna repeat this until you have 2 per jar, or 1 per jar, or I don't know, 10 per jar, whatever. Whatever you like, taste-wise, all right? Beautiful. Now that each jar has 2 cloves or 1 big clove or 1,000, whatever you want, the next ingredient going into each jar is going to be a teaspoon of dried oregano. It is not my own dried oregano. I did not plant oregano this year. I'm coming up with a new design concept for just like an herbs only garden. That's in the works. Anyway, it's gonna be 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, maybe 2. I'm gonna visually see. Basically, I just do this by eye. Just thought I'd mention that as well. All right, we have the oregano leaves here, and I'm just doing like a heaping. It doesn't need to be level. So 1. Oh, it smells so good. 1. I don't know. Maybe 1.5. We will split the difference. So I have my half a teaspoon here, and still heaping. Oh, that was a big one. There we go. Okay, we got the oregs in there. Now, the next ingredient is completely like up to you. I like a little bit of spice and zing. So I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of my lazzaretto or dried chili flakes, and maybe even a 1/4 teaspoon is a little too much. Maybe a light 1/4 teaspoon because they be spice. Oh, you know what? Maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. Yeah, we did an 1/8 of a teaspoon. If this was store-bought, I would probably do a full 1/4 or even a half because I don't find store-bought dried chili flakes are even that hot. Just saying. So that is basically it. You can add dried parsley or fresh parsley, whatever you like. I personally like the oregano to be the main flavor of this. Now that all your jars have your dry ingredients, it is time to drain your tomatoes. I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I think my cheesecloth is gonna fall in. You can do it in a bowl. It's completely up to you. You can use a colander or whatever. I was just lazy and didn't want to have to sanitize a colander on top of everything else today. So this has been sitting for 24 hours. Just on my countertop. I don't think you need to put it in the fridge. It was sealed, like it didn't have any things cross-contaminating it. Ooh, I love apple cider vinegar. Anyway, I want to drain this in here. I didn't have elastics big enough. Cody, maybe I can have you help me.
Sure.
Anyway, I think I'm gonna get Cody to hold this just so the cheesecloth doesn't fall in. All right, and I'm just literally gonna drain this. I just don't want it like falling in as one thing. Okay, hang on, hold that for a second. Okay, we're gonna do this in 2 parts. Thank you, thank you. Okay, you don't have to squeeze out the vinegar. I don't, because you're gonna mix this with oil after. So basically, I'm going to take my green tomatoes and fill my jars. There's one. I'm not really crushing it down just because I want to see how much I have. Okay. Oh my God, they smell so good. You know who really loves this recipe? My father. We don't really get along, but if there's one thing we agree on in this household, it is the amazing food that we create. Okay. All right, Cody, I'm gonna need you again. We're gonna repeat that step one more time. Cody, you've been very helpful. Oh my God, I might need to get more jars. I'm realizing. Oh no. Okay, one more time, Cody, one more time.
You had your hands on it. So I let go.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay. Excuse me for a second.
Can I let go?
You can let go. Okay, hang on. Oh my goodness. This is not a good system. I need to get big elastic bands for next year.
It was perfectly fine in there.
Okay, you just hold that.
I'm going to.
Okay, I don't have it.
I know.
I don't
still see.
I don't have it. Okay, ready? Hang on. This side first. Okay, you're free. You're free. I love this recipe, but I hate doing it. It's so tedious and it's a lot of work. All right. So we had enough to fill each of our jars. The tomatoes didn't fill them right to the top, but that's okay. It just leaves a little more room to mix things. The next step is to fill each jar with extra virgin olive oil. Yes, it can get pricey. When I went to the grocery store yesterday, I got like just a cheap bottle of olive oil. I think it was like $10. And I got like a whole liter of extra virgin olive oil. I'm not gonna be that picky. $10, okay? I don't know if this is gonna be enough because I thought I had 2 of these and I don't. But I do have other olive oil I could use. But yeah, we're literally filling it to the top. Or at least to like that one little rim. I might have enough actually. And 5. And now to get rid of the air bubbles, I'm literally just hitting them on the table. Okay, so this one needs a little bit more. That one, oh my gosh, I think I have enough, Cody.
Nailed it.
The next step is to literally put lids on them. And I'm just gonna like hand tighten. And I'm literally shaking them. Get that beautiful oregano mix right in there. Also make sure they are tightened pretty decent or else, you know, it's gonna go everywhere. Okay, I'm just gonna keep that upside down so any of the little extra bits can be mixed around. Also, this is like another reason I don't like fully pack it because you want to mix it properly. And that is it. And you throw these in your fridge for 1 to 2 months or until you finish them. Anything past that, I don't know if I would trust it. I don't know. This is why I'm in school, to learn these things. Anyway, that's all that goes in this recipe, and you know what time it is. It's TTT, taste test time. All right, so let the taste test be, and watch it be awful. I'm nervous. Smells delicious, so there's that. That is freaking delicious. A little more crunchy than usual because I'm eating it fresh versus letting it sit for a week. The tang from the vinegar is delicious. And believe it or not, they're not salty. The amount of salt that was left after squeezing is like perfect. The olive oil, the oregano, the garlic, and they're not too spicy. So light-handed on my lazzaretto was perfect. The only bread that I have right now is brioche bread, but I'm gonna finish this with a little bit of brioche bread. The sweetness, the softness. Don't worry, Cody, I'm saving you some. The combination with the sweet bread is phenomenal. That's a clean plate club for me, just saying. Cody, would you like to try some?
Yes, please.
Careful. There you go.
Thank you.
Is she vinegary for you?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a sour face on like this.
It's interesting. It's very flavorful. It's maybe a scotch too much thing for me. But I'm gonna finish it. It's tasty.
Put it on the bread. I think that the sweetness will balance that. Okay, you can squeeze out the vinegar in like the cheesecloth if you would like. I just like having the vinegar flavor with the olive oil, and it's really good with brioche, just saying. Or fresh Italian bread with butter, like, I love being Italian.
I could mess around with a bunch of those.
Yeah, right. There it is, folks.
Didn't stand a chance.
Clean Plate Club. All right. Thank you, my little spoons, for lasting this long in the video. I hope I inspired you to try this recipe. I know it is a long recipe to do, but I promise it's so worth it. I'm super excited about my class. Basically, it's a class on how to process foods properly and safely to make things like canned green tomatoes shelf stable. Once I learn how to do that properly, I'm turning this into an industrial setup because there ain't no way I'm not doing bushels of this every year. And yeah, it's a great way to utilize what's left in your garden, especially now that we're entering into the fall season. Nothing goes to waste. And if you are just curious about this recipe, you could do just enough to do 1 jar. That way you're not wasting any of the ingredients, time, and energy. And if you like it, you know, possibilities are endless. I was just super happy that I was able to share this with you today, little spoons. Anyway, with that said, thank you. And you know what? Canned green tomatoes. See ya.